scenes in all of college football.
Saquon Barkley, say bye-bye. And there's Hamler. They'll never catch him.
There goes Singleton. I'm even, I'm leaving. Touchdown.
It's a surreal moment running out for the whiteout. It was like everything was a blur. It was like one of those movie scenes where you run out, everything like goes quiet, but it's like it's not quiet at all. It's unique.
It's just breathtaking. You come out, you look around, and like you just lost for words. It's an amazing sight, and it just hypes you up to play in front of 100 and whatever thousand whiteout. Best fans in the country. It's just amazing.
It's the most electric, intense atmosphere I've ever been a part of. It was the reason why I came to Penn State. The fans are crazy. It's the best college day experience you'll ever get. I am blown away every time I run onto the field. It's absolutely mind-blowing.
The annual Penn State Whiteout coming up on Saturday at Beaver Stadium, 7:30. The Nittany Lions ranked 7th in the country, taking on the 24th ranked Iowa Hawkeyes. Brian Tripp, delighted to be back with you here from the Lasch Football Building on the patio on this gorgeous Wednesday night ahead of Penn State and Iowa, a pair of unbeaten teams. The Big Ten home opener for the Nittany Lions coming off their 30-13 victory at Illinois on Saturday. We'll preview that matchup. We'll talk to a couple of student athletes here on the show tonight, and we'll also have exclusive comments from head coach James Franklin coming up in just moments here on the Unrivaled weekly game preview show ahead of the Nittany Lions and the Hawkeyes. Looks like head coach James Franklin is ready to go.
To the Temple community as well as the Dartmouth community. Significant losses, so just wanted to take a minute and address that, but open up to questions.
Question. Hey, James, are there takeaways from the last time you played Iowa for the fans on Saturday, the players and coaches?
What are you specifically asking? It's a very broad question.
It was a hostile environment. Fans weren't kind to Penn State. Backup quarterback had troubles. Do you look back and go, how do they apply now?
No, I'm worried about the things that we have to do to have our team prepared. And I think we've done that. We'll continue to do that all week long to give us the best chance to be successful. But no, no comments or points about that.
James, you referenced on Tuesday that Kalen King's not being targeted much. When a guy is commanding that kind of respect, what does it do? What is it doing so far for this defense?
Well, it's interesting because he was in a similar situation, with Joey, to a degree. But yeah, I think it shows a lot of respect for him. It also shows that we have other playmakers on the field. It's not like you can go away from him and then have success throwing other places when we were able to get 4 interceptions and also fumble recovery. So, I think you guys know I kind of went into this in detail about my respect and appreciation for the guys that we got in our DB room, as well as the coaches that are coaching them. And that's really what you want. You really want DBs and specifically corners out there that can cause problems and make things difficult for you. And if you decide to go away from one corner because he's so well respected nationally, and then you go to the other corners and those guys intercept, I think those guys had 2 interceptions, then obviously that's positive.
James, when you first got here, did you have an appreciation for what the Whiteout could do with respect to recruiting before you actually experienced one? And can you talk about the impact that it has in that kind of phase of the program?
Yeah, not really. I think growing up, obviously, I had a very good awareness, obviously, growing up just outside of Philadelphia, of what Penn State was and what it was all about, but not to the level that I understand and appreciate it now. I'd never been to a game here. I came to a camp here, I think, when I was in 10th or 11th grade. But no, I didn't have an understanding or an appreciation of the Whiteout. But now, obviously, not only is it impactful for us, you think about how many of our guys talk about their recruiting process and how the Whiteout had a big impact on that. You think about when we got here, a lot of the good players that were on the team, talking about that 5 overtime win with Michigan. There was a ton of guys on our roster that had experienced that. So it's meaningful. It's not just meaningful for our football program. This is a huge recruiting weekend for the other 30 sports as well. It'll be, as you guys know, it'll be in some ways a zoo this weekend. It'll be an increase of probably 250,000 people in town, 110,000 people in the stadium, another 100,000 whatever tailgating, which is something I still look forward to doing at some point in my life. Tailgating sounds awesome. But then a ton of recruits on official visits, on unofficial visits. And I think this is an opportunity that the other sports use to show the atmosphere and community that we have here. And if you come to Penn State and play volleyball, if you come to Penn State and play field hockey, this is the type of support you're going to get. And this is the type of community that you'll be, able to experience. And then not only that, all of these nationally televised games, but also obviously specifically the Whiteout, it's more than just athletics. It's an opportunity to showcase the entire university as a whole.
James, as seasons get older throughout the course of your coaching career, have you found that the emotion of how excited you are about how good the team can be is stronger or not as strong as the paranoia of the things that can get into play?
I probably fight what you're kind of mentioning, and I think you guys have heard me talk about it. I think what happens a lot of times with coaches, the wins can become expected, and the losses can be really kind of impactful. And you fight that, right? You want to, I tell myself, and I tell the coaches, and I tell the teams, you got to appreciate winning and what winning takes. And you look around the country and there's examples, and I show the team and show the staff each week, there's examples of games every week that they weren't supposed to win or they weren't supposed to lose, whatever vantage point you're looking at it from. So, I fight that, but I do think there's a natural tendency of that, whether it's the impact of a loss emotionally, or whether it is the paranoia of the possibility of a loss. I don't want to become that bitter, old, paranoid coach, which I called my sister the other day. I don't know if I told you guys this or not. She goes, "Hey, you look like you've lost weight." She goes, but I was shocked at how gray your goatee was. So it's like there's positives, but then there's also, some issues there. And it's kind of the same way with the game is I want to enjoy the wins. I want to enjoy the preparation. I want to enjoy all the things that go into it. I don't want to take it for granted. I don't want the stadium and the atmosphere to be taken for granted by me, the players, anybody, because it is special. But I fight those negative things that you're talking about because I don't want to become that guy. But I can see how it's possible.
James, yesterday you talked at length about Terry Smith and his contributions to the program. One of the things you said was that he coached these guys hard without crossing the line. What does that look like out here? Can you give us an example of that? Maybe how do you see that looking?
Yeah, well, I think there's a way that you can coach guys. I think first of all, it starts with relationships, right? These guys knowing that you truly care about them as a player and their careers and their futures, but also that you care about them academically and you care about them personally and their families. And I think once that is established and known and that trust is built, then you can coach guys really hard. And that may be screaming and yelling. That may be demanding. That may be holding guys accountable. But there's a line that you don't cross where some people make the mistake where it becomes personal or it becomes demeaning. And I think, maybe if you look back in the day, that was somewhat common. To be honest with you, I hate to say that, but it probably was back in the day. And he's just one of those guys that I think, I said that specifically about him because he can be really demanding and challenging on his guys. But it's always in a way that they're receptive to and not defensive about, if that makes sense. And I think it's because over time, he's shown them that he cares and that he's going to coach them in a way that's going to be important for their careers, but also in the team's best interest. That's one of the things we talk about all the time. We're not going to ask them to do anything that's not in their that's not in their best interest and or the team's best interest.
Hey, James. We saw
I think he did some good things. As you guys know, he's big, strong, powerful. He's athletic. He's quick. Made some mistakes, some things that we gotta knock the rust off with. But overall, I thought he played well, and he gives us, another legitimate defensive tackle inside, which is a position that's challenging to develop depth at. I think he has a chance to be special. He just needs more reps and more experience. But it was great. It was great having him back.
How do you get a quarterback to hesitate?
To hesitate?
Yeah, like when he's looking at the defense, how do you get that moment to make him second guess what he's seeing?
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about our quarterback. I'm like, I don't want our quarterback to hesitate. I was confused. Yeah, so I think one of the big things for us in our defense is not necessarily hesitation, but we want to take the first read of the quarterback away. So that's obviously route recognition. That is tendencies when it comes to formations and down and distance. That also is a big reason why we play man coverage, is to be able to try to get the quarterback off of his first read as much as he possibly can, so then he is holding on to the ball, which is going to allow us to get pressure on the quarterback, sacks on the quarterback, or pressure enough to cause turnovers like interceptions. So I think that's a big belief in why we play so much press man. Is there strengths and weaknesses to anything? If they know you're in man, are you getting more man beaters? Yeah, but then you spend all your time on man beaters, right? So, that's kind of the whole philosophy behind what we do, how we do it, and why we do it.
James, you guys didn't have Trey Wallace on Saturday, and I believe pretty simple medicals happened to clear him. Has he been cleared before the game on Saturday? Do you expect that?
Yeah, I think he was, I don't think it was that he wasn't cleared to play. He wasn't cleared in a way that we felt like he was going to be productive. And to be honest with you, Amari's had some bumps and bruises. That's kind of why he's been limited. He could have played, but was not practicing playing the way we think he's capable of. So, having those guys back. But I think there's a difference, right? There's a difference between being cleared and you can go out and do it, but you're not at your best right now. So if we have the ability to wait a week to hopefully get them there, that's what we'd like to do. And that's really kind of what happened last week, to describe it in a little bit more detail.
You got a handful of new ball handlers, kicker, punter, snapper.
What's Yackle?
It's a Japanese baseball team.
Obviously.
Handful of new ball handlers, rain in the forecast this weekend. How are you preparing them and how they handle it?
Yeah, we've had rain in the forecast, earlier this year. That's why, whenever it rains, we take it as an opportunity, as long as there's not thunder and lightning, to practice in it. So I think that by doing that, I think your guys build confidence. That's just kind of a part of the game and something we do, but we practice in it. The only time we'll come in is if it's like a jog through. I don't want them just standing out there in the rain. But besides that, we're outside. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That's head coach James Franklin ahead of 7th-ranked Penn State taking on number 24 Iowa under the lights for the annual Whiteout game on Saturday night at Beaver Stadium. The game airing on CBS, the first time CBS will broadcast from Beaver Stadium since 1990, November of 1990, a win over Pittsburgh, and 14 of the previous 31 matchups with the Hawkeyes have been decided by one possession. Live here on the Lasch patio for the Unrivaled weekly preview show, Brian Tripp joined by running back Trey Potts, who participated in the Whiteout game last year as a member of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Trey, how much are you looking forward to being a part of it this time on the good guys side?
Yeah, I'm super excited. All my family's going to be here to watch, and we get to cheer for the good team this year, so I'm super excited.
Describe the environment when you take the field at Beaver Stadium. You had that experience last year for the Whiteout, but obviously I think the West Virginia game kind of mirrored that experience to start the year. Describe the environment inside Beaver Stadium.
Yeah, it's a dream come true. I grew up a PA kid, and this was like my dream school to come to, so just running out that tunnel, I get chills. Like, I look back at my younger self and I'm like, I'm here. So it just feels good. I'm happy to be a part of this program.
Describe to me the opportunity to play for the school that you dreamed of playing for growing up. When did you start to love Penn State and then to have that opportunity to wear the blue and white and get out there and perform on the field?
Yeah, so my mom is actually a Penn State grad and my grandfather. So I grew up coming to blue and white games. I grew up coming to Penn State games. So it's just been instilled in me. And, I got the opportunity in the portal and, it was a kind of no-brainer for me. So I'm just happy to be here.
We're watching some of your highlights here from the game against Delaware earlier on this year. And here it is, the pass against Illinois to Tyler Warren for the touchdown. Take me through that play.
So last week we kind of put it on the fly. And, we ran it a couple of times, but I didn't know if it was going to get called in the game. And, they called my number, and I just went out there and executed, and it was a pretty good play, to be honest. So,
how many passes have you completed in a game before? Dating back to high school, going back to middle school, how many passes have you completed before?
I'm 1 for 1 with the touchdown, so can't complain.
That's going to be really hard to top. Were you perfect in practice running it?
No, I wasn't. My first attempt, I actually threw it way over his head, and I had to warm up, but I got it down though.
How would you describe the running back room that you're a part of here? Obviously, two terrific backs in Nicholas and Katron, and then yourself finding your role in that running back room as well. How would you describe that room?
Definitely. It's a family. Coach Sider, it's just all brothers, and it's all a family. We learn from each other. We coach each other. So it just feels good to be a part of such a competitive and dominant room. And, just week by week, I'm just playing my role and getting where I fit in.
Yeah, we were looking forward to seeing you back out there on the field on Saturday. You got to tell me, though, one by one, tell me a little bit about Nicholas. What impresses you when you watch Nick Singleton?
Nick, his acceleration, just 0 to 100, and just how he works. His crazy work ethic. And then Katron, he's just shifty, but he'll run you over. It's just such dynamic back, so it's just cool to watch and, just compete with him.
All right, because we're going to have Cam Miller up here next, a member of that Penn State defense. When you go against the defense every day in practice, what makes that unit so good? Because they've had a terrific start to this season as well.
I would say as the offense and the defense, we're so deep, both sides of the ball, but we just got playmakers on both sides, and the defense just, they bring it every day, so it's just fun to compete with them.
All right, last question for you. I don't know if you watched the Delaware broadcast back, but did you know that they went into a full history of the Williamsport Millionaires and where that mascot and where that name came from? I'm putting you on the spot. Yeah. Do you know the history at all?
I know our town was a big lumber, a lumber town, and at one point, we had a lot of millionaires per capita in the city, so that's what they came up with the high school name, but I love it. Shout out the Millionaires.
I love that too. And now famous Little League Baseball as well. Trey, really appreciate it. Congrats on the touchdown pass. Can't wait to see you out there on Saturday repping the blue and white.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Trey Potts joining us here on the Unrivaled Weekly Preview Show, taking a look at that Penn State defense now. The Nittany Lion defense forcing 5 turnovers on Saturday at Illinois. The first one, that forced fumble from Dom DeLuca. Kobe King hops on it, and this started a great trend against that Illinois offense. Penn State playing complimentary football all day long. The most turnovers in a game since 2014 against Temple. There's the interception, that time a linebacker. It's coming at all 3 levels here. Abdul Carter jumps the route there. Altmaier's pass over the middle, picked off by Carter, and that sets Penn State up with terrific field position. Alex Felkins had a great game on Saturday. And then that no-fly zone down the sideline. Great play on the ball. Great to see Daquan Hardy back in the lineup. Goes up, makes the pick there. The first of 3 picks from the cornerback group. Hardy had the first one. Johnny Dixon comes up with this one with Illinois driving into the red zone. He hops the route. I love the reaction from athletic director Pat Kraft in the background, too, going crazy over there on the sideline. And then the very last one here along the sideline, Cam Miller able to jump that route and picks it off at the 30-yard line, gets his toes down inbounds. He read that one all the way, and he is the sophomore cornerback from Fernandina. I just screwed that up. Fernandina Beach, Florida, joining us here on the show. Hey, it's a live show. Sometimes things aren't going to go perfect, Cam, but things went really well for your defense there on Saturday at Illinois in Champaign. We just watched the 5 takeaways for your defense. What's the mentality that you and the rest of your defensive teammates take every time you step out onto the football field?
Yeah, every time we step on the football field, we're ready to dominate, no matter if we're in practice, if it's a Tuesday practice, Wednesday practice. And I feel like that translates to the game. That definitely translates to the game because our approach every day. So when it's game day, it's easy.
All right, let's take a look back at your pick once again here because you made that pick along the sideline. Take me through this play.
All right, so we was in cover 2 right here. I was supposed to keep my receiver inside of me. So I was baiting him. I got inside of the receiver. I didn't think the quarterback was going to throw it. I slipped the route and jumped underneath it and made sure I got my feet in, toe tap. I didn't think he was going to throw it. My eyes got huge when he locked in on the receiver.
Did you play receiver back in high school? Because that's some good footwork there along the sideline.
Yes, sir. I played some receiver. I played all over the field in high school.
What are some of the things that you do every day at practice? Because I know that Coach Diaz and everyone out there, Coach Smith, you work so hard at being able to create those takeaways. What are some of the things you do every time you're out here on the practice field? Maybe it is a Wednesday like tonight to make sure you guys can capitalize when the ball comes your way in a game like that situation.
So every day getting jugs and taking our ball work drills that we do in practice very seriously, focusing in on the ball, just taking the little details very seriously.
Coach Franklin was just talking as well about what your defense can do and why getting takeaways is so important. On a day like that, is it contagious a little bit where you see it start to happen, that it starts to flow through the rest of the defense?
It definitely was contagious because it was like once one happened, it was just like a trickle-down effect and everyone was feeding off of each other and it was just like you get one, you get one. It's just like it was like Christmas.
We're rolling through some of your highlights here from this season. You're not afraid to come up and make a tackle as well. How much pride do you take in your ability to come up and make a play from that secondary and making sure you're limiting the space a guy has in the open field?
Yeah, I take pride in all aspects of my game. I know I can cover. My points of emphasis is being more physical and coming down, being able to tackle, letting my teammates know that they can trust me and run support and things like that.
Do you feel like that is where you mentioned a point of emphasis from year 1 to year 2, the areas that you're improving right now as a football player?
Absolutely, yeah. Being more physical, coming down, being in the run support.
And you're learning from a great group back there. I mean, that no-fly zone, that is a talented cornerback room. What have you learned and who have you learned from? I think you guys all probably are trading secrets amongst each other out there. What's it like to be a part of that room?
And it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I learn from each and every guy every day. In front of me, you got Kalen King, Johnny Dixon, Daquan Hardy. Combined, they got a lot of football experience. So I haven't been playing DB that long. People don't really know that. So getting their experiences from when they were younger, now just getting their perspective, it helps me a ton.
All right, you just said you hadn't been playing DB that long. When did you start playing DB?
Started playing DB when junior year high school.
What was the hardest thing about the transition? What have you enjoyed most about the transition?
I'm a competitor at heart. And I was just like to shut someone down, like shut down the side of the field. Just like me versus you, who's better? And I feel like 9 times out of 10, I'm better.
You watched Joey on Monday night?
Absolutely. He made the game-sealing play. I was watching. I was jumping out my chair watching the game.
Cam, really appreciate it. Good luck in the Whiteout coming up on Saturday. I can't wait to be out there at Beaver Stadium. Thanks again.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Cam Miller joining us here on the Unrivaled weekly preview show ahead of the Nittany Lions and Hawkeyes coming up on Saturday at Beaver Stadium. Let's dive into our players to watch for this week's game between Penn State and Iowa. And on the offensive side of the football, for Penn State, Keandre Lambert-Smith, averaging nearly 15 yards per catch in his Nittany Lion career. You can see how dangerous he is once he has the football in his hand there last weekend against Illinois, earlier this season on the screen pass. I love the way the receivers are blocking as well on the outside. This is a team that is committed to getting their guys in space. Downfield blocking has been exceptional. And, of course, the big plays for Keandre Lambert-Smith. 17 catches of 20-plus yards in his career this year. 13 catches, 222 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the Nittany Lions. I apologize there, as Lambert-Smith is our offensive player to watch this week. Let's switch to the defensive side of the football. Adisa Isaac, defensive end, number 20. If you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at all. Season 6 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a half a sack. He had a really good game, as you see his highlights there, against Illinois last week. Isaac, Chop Robinson, Abdul Carter, all with double-digit tackles for loss last season, continuing that over into this 2023 season. The Penn State defense allowing just 267 yards per game and 11.6 points per game so far this season. One last highlight there from Adisa Isaac. And when we switched to linebacker and Abdul Carter, we said all three levels last weekend. They talked about that ad nauseum on the Fox broadcast. Carter, one of 5 players with a takeaway at Illinois, 8 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack and interception, and 2 quarterback hurries this season. He's doing it on both sides of the line of scrimmage. In his career, 11.5 tackles for loss and 7.5 career sacks. And you know Iowa's going to come out. They want to run the football. How are they going to use that tight end? It's going to be some of the things to watch with this Penn State defense, which has been physical and tenacious this season as we take a look at the key players for Iowa. And this list had to change this week. The Hawkeyes going to be without tight end Luke Lachey, running backs Caleb Johnson and Jazzion Patterson. Running back LaShawn Williams not featured here. 145 yards in relief in their victory against Western Michigan, 41-10 last week. 41 points for the Hawkeyes, their most in the last 25 games. Cade McNamara, Eric Gall, familiar names from their time at Michigan. They've had really solid collegiate careers on the defensive side of the football. We could have picked a lot of different players, but linebacker Nick Jackson, the senior, 36 career starts, second on the team in tackles, and then the punter, Torrey Taylor as well, a first-team All-American last season. Taylor, 6'4", 232, big kid as a punter, but they rely heavily on their punters as well. So those are our players to watch for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Well, that's what's happening this weekend at Beaver Stadium. Coming off a great weekend, not only of college football, but our Nittany Lions performing at the next level in the National Football League. Let's look back at some of those Week 2 highlights.
NFL Week number 2. Steelers rookie cornerback Joey Porter Jr. had a pass breakup and helped seal a 26-22 win over the Browns. Giants running back Saquon Barkley with his first rushing touchdown of the season. Barkley also with 6 receptions for 29 yards, including this touchdown, and finished the day with 17 carries for 63 yards and 1 touchdown. And what a start to the season for Cowboys linebacker Micah Parsons. He had 2 sacks of Jets quarterback Zach Wilson and forced a fumble in a dominant win over New York on Sunday.
And James Franklin, some really positive things to say about Micah Parsons, not only the player, but the person this week in his weekly press conference that started our coverage on Tuesday. You can see that on Lion Vision, also our social media channels. Same here for our Unrivaled weekly preview show. Wherever you're watching from tonight, please let us know. Leave your name, comment. Tell us, where are you watching from tonight? We'd love to hear from our fans. Then, of course, tomorrow, Thursday, the Penn State Coaches Show featuring James Franklin from the Field Burger and Tap presented by Pepsi. And then we dive and take a closer look into what is a jam-packed Saturday. As you can see there, our game day schedule, parking lots open 8 a.m. The annual Whiteout game block party beginning with a live DJ at Team Arrival stage at noon. Live music at that stage at 3 o'clock. 5:30 Team Arrival. The stadium gates are opening. Get there early. Be loud. Be proud. Support the team from warm-ups on. The tailgate show on the radio starts at 6. The Blue Band comes to the stadium at 6:30, then starts their on-field pregame show at 7:15. And then don't forget, after the game, obviously, coverage on the radio side and, of course, our Unrivaled post-game show as well. That is your game day timeline. Also a busy week for Penn State athletics. When isn't it? And all of these teams. I mean, what a start to the season for so many Penn State teams. Women's volleyball in action tonight, actually right now, against Rutgers at Rec Hall. That's a 6 p.m. start time, so they are an hour into that match. Sunday, they're at Northwestern, opening up their Big Ten slate. Women's soccer, Thursday at Rutgers. That's tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Sunday against Nebraska back at home. Women's hockey, the defending CHA champions, start their season on the road at Northeastern. Field hockey, ranked matchup with Syracuse coming up on Sunday, and men's golf competing Sunday and Monday as well. As I said, that field hockey game is a ranked matchup. You can catch that on Big Ten Plus, as well as so many other Penn State events, including women's soccer tomorrow, all the way up to number 4 in the country at Rutgers at 7 p.m. And then women's soccer, Nebraska and Penn State, wraps up our weekend at 1 o'clock on Big Ten Plus as well. In case you missed it, the Penn State men's basketball schedule is out for the 2023-2024 season. It begins with Delaware State coming to Happy Valley on the 6th of November. A big slate there, including a game at the Palestra in Philadelphia on the 7th of January against the Michigan Wolverines. Man, it's going to be here before you know it. The Penn State basketball schedule is out. For more information, go to gopsusports.com. There it is, the Whiteout coming up on Saturday at Beaver Stadium, 7:30 on CBS. Don't forget, a lot of other great promotions coming up this year. And to get your Penn State Whiteout gear, We need this place. 110,000 plus, everyone decked in white for the game coming up on Saturday. Go to gopsusports.com for that gear, and you'll probably be donning that gear as you come to the Beaver Stadium block party ahead of Penn State and Iowa. There's a quick rundown of where everything's happening out there on Curtin Road in front of the Bryce Jordan Center and on the south side near the tunnel at Beaver Stadium. Fans, as always, practice Happy Valley hospitality this weekend. Show your Penn State pride. Be respectful. Be great fans. Be responsible. Be gracious hosts. Show that Penn State pride. And you can even do that tomorrow if you're attending the Penn State Coaches Show featuring James Franklin and field hockey head coach Lisa Bervinchak-Love. That's tomorrow from the Field Burger and Tap presented by Pepsi, and that's at 6 o'clock. And then after the game, our coverage doesn't stop with the Unrivaled postgame show, Penn State and Iowa, coming up on Saturday from Beaver Stadium. So there's your matchup one last time. The Nittany Lions and the Hawkeyes, 7:30 on Saturday from Beaver Stadium for the annual Whiteout game. Our thanks to Cam Miller and Trey Potts for stopping by the show here tonight. And again, great work by our entire crew. I'm Brian Tripp saying so long from the patio here at the Lasch Football Building on what is just a spectacular Wednesday night in Happy Valley. We're crossing our fingers. We're crossing our toes. We're hoping this is what Saturday night's like. We're hoping this is what it's like. It's going to be awesome. Nothing tops the Penn State Whiteout. What do they call it? I mean, monochromatic mayhem, all those different terms. Can't wait to see that place on Saturday night. We will see you there, and we will see you post-game after the game to wrap up Penn State and Iowa. Talk to you then. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Brian Tripp saying so long from the Lasch Building.
We welcome you to one of the great scenes in all of college football.
Saquon Barkley, say bye-bye. And there's Hamler. They'll never catch him.
There goes Singleton. I'm even, I'm leaving. Touchdown.
It's a surreal moment running out for the Whiteout. It was like everything was a blur. It was like one of those movie scenes where you run out, everything like goes quiet, but it's like it's not quiet at all. It's unique.
It's just breathtaking. You come out, you look around, and like you just lost for words. It's an amazing sight, and it just hypes you up to play in front of 100 and whatever thousand Whiteout, best fans in the country. It's just amazing.
It's the most electric, intense atmosphere I've ever been a part of. It was the reason why I came to Penn State. The fans are crazy. It's the best college day experience you'll ever get. I am blown away every time I run onto the field. It's absolutely mind-blowing.